colloidal silver I mentioned falls within the guidelines as they existed before the 1938 federal regulatory takeover of our food and drug supply. Therefore, this product can be distributed as a pre-1938 original formula without FDA new drug approval. This is the original 1938 broad-spectrum mild silver protein formula that was used in the treatment of more than 650 diseases, except this version is much more stable, that including viral infections, bacterial infections, cold, flu, nasal infections, and fungal infections. Now, there's so much disinformation about the silver, and I've been on both sides of the fence. I used for several years a weak part per million silver, and I was using this, and I used it. It was effective for things like candida and yeast, but really had never seen results really anywhere else. And I went to a seminar and spoke. It was a Christian seminar I was at, and on 2 different breaks I had in the 2 breaks I had a total of 3 different people come up to me. One, I believe the first man was an MD. He came up to me and told me about this product, and I'd never even heard of it. And he told me, you know, all these miraculous things that had taken place in his practice, and highly advised to check into it. And then another guy came up to me who was a veterinarian and told me how he had saw essentially the same things in his veterinary practice, how he piped this silver down a horse's throat, and you know, the horse was healed, and all these stories. And then I had another guy come up to me, I believe on the 2nd break, and he was just a regular layperson that came up to me and told me about this particular product. And again, the Bible says out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses a thing is established. And I thought to myself, well, you know what, I can't ignore this. And one of the reasons I got into alternative health is because of a poorly functioning immune system. And when I started taking this product, I always try, if I can, to try the products on myself first. I noticed a dramatic increase in my own immune system and immune function, and from that point I started implementing it with some of my patients, and they also noticed a lot of miraculous things too. So this is how I found out about this. And there is this link here at the bottom is in regard to the rebuttals of a lot of these other companies out there that are telling you this and that and this and that, but the science and the history absolutely backs this product. These other low part per million silvers that we see on the market right now, these 20 part and 5 part per million things, are going to be about as effective against any type of pandemic as dishwater would be. It's the essence is, if you were going to war, would it behoove, and the war was hot and bad, would it behoove you, let's, in this case, we're talking about a 5,000 part per million mild silver protein, would it behoove you to take 5 troops with you, or would you get more results if you took 5,000? And this is what we're talking about when we're talking about a 5,000 part per million. It's just much more concentrated, and it can do things that a 5 part could never do, and that's why it's superior. And this silver is made under pharmaceutical good manufacturing guidelines, double check-off lists. The silver that's used is the highest quality silver. It's the same silver that's used in burn wards across America in regard to the source of the silver. So very, very extremely high quality product with a very long shelf life as well. Now, they make a 5,000, I believe a 5,700, a 10,000 and a 10,700. For the sake of this presentation, I'm just talking about 5,000. You could, which would be the minimum strength you would want to get in regard to something like a pandemic. Okay? And again, I can't claim a cure. I can't claim we're treating anything. Okay? Just because of FDA guidelines, I can't claim that. So you're going to have to kind of do your own math in regard to this. Do your own due diligence in regard to these things that I'm going over today. Check out the links that I'm posting here. I don't expect you to take anything I'm saying, you know, just at face value. Do your homework, and I think you're going to come up to the same conclusion I did. Now, as far as the suggested therapeutic dosing guidelines in regard to something like a pandemic, it would be 1 to 1 tablespoon for every 30 pounds of body weight, 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon for every 30 pounds of body weight per day if you have been exposed or if you have a virulent virus. This dosage should be equally broken up and taken in 3-hour intervals. Okay, so there's a lot of latitude between 1 teaspoon and 1 tablespoon. Okay, and I think it would depend on the status of your immune system, the level of exposure, these types of things. But at bare minimum, 1 teaspoon. But if you really want to err on the side of safety, 1 tablespoon would be better. Now, if you were using a stronger version of the silver, you could take a little bit less. This dosage should be equally broken up, and again, taken at 3-hour intervals. It's good to would be essential to stay at home, avoid contact with the populace until the outbreak passes. These are just good general common sense things to do. If taking the mild silver protein, drink at least 8-ounce glasses of purified water per day to flush, the die-off out of the system. The mild silver protein can also be applied topically with a product called DMSO, which you can get at any health food store, and that would enhance the effectiveness if you're going to do it topically. Let's say if you had some type of infection on the skin. Because the 5,000 part per million mild silver protein is only available in 4-ounce bottles, it would be wise to keep at least a few bottles for each adult family member and 1 to 2 for each child in your household. View this like an insurance policy that hopefully you'll never have to use. But even if you don't use this product in the event of a pandemic, it can be diluted and taken on an everyday basis to keep the immune system strong. In fact, you don't even have to dilute it. You can just take, a little bit of it. And my website in regard to this is www.dr-johnson.com. So it's www.dr-johnson.com. In a recent email, I received the following information from the president of the company who makes the 5,000 part per million mild silver protein. Quote, "This product will, God willing, protect individuals from the end-time plagues, as it has already worked against HIV, AIDS, SARS, and on every strain of flu it has ever been used on." End of quote. Premier Jing of China bought 15 bottles of our 5,000 part per million and sent it to his national science lab, and they tried to copycat the formulation, but they could not stabilize it because in order to do so, in order to break the code, they would have to do 1,000 times 1,000 different formulations to get what they call the molar ratios right, and each time wait 6 months to see if the silver precipitated out of solution. Okay, that's a little bit technical, but that's what he told me. Dr. Colloidal was the MD who developed and enhanced this mild silver protein product. He said that God led him and inspired him on how to stabilize this formula. And Invive Silver is the only company on the planet that has the full formula on how to stabilize this product. And he said that God led him how to do it, and I believe he did. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Even one of their own scientists recommended the formula to them. Scientist Emeritus Dr. William Bergdorfer, PhD, MD, the discoverer of Lyme's disease, of whom the Lyme bacteria was named after as Borrelia burgdorferi, recommended the silver to a medical community at worldwide conferences to hundreds of MDs, but the medical community preferred the pharmaceutical drugs and refused to use the silver. And there's the link verifying what I just said there.